talked about in like meetings and stuff before you came to the Sunny Coast that, you know, worst case scenario, if there is an outbreak anywhere, that you could be staying up there for a while? Have you had packed extra stuff in case?
No, not really. No, it was a bit like last year. You know, we were going for 2 weeks, so we packed probably a little bit more last year. But this year, you know, we always knew we were coming up here at this time because of the schedule. You know, and we just wanted to have a camp up here again, but also, you know, probably thank the Sunny Coast a bit for what they did for us last year. You know, so yeah, we thought we'd be heading back home again, but yeah, it's not funny, I suppose. But you know, having this happen again, quite ironic, I suppose. So yeah, obviously, you know, some of the guys are a little bit rattled, you know, because you know their families were going to come up, you know, for 3 days off after this game, and so that won't be happening now. And obviously the guys can't go back there either. So yeah, it's probably going to add a little bit of stress around the camp, to be quite honest. So, but hopefully, you know, things can be sorted and you know, we get back to some sort of normality at some stage.
Greg, we've touched on this before, the incredible record against the Broncos at Suncorp Stadium, dating all the way back to 2009, the last time you lost. I mean, the guys just seem to love playing in that venue.
Yeah, well, you know, I think we've always enjoyed playing there. I think, you know, as long as, you know, I've been here, you know, the guys always look forward to playing Suncorp. But obviously, it's a great stadium. It's probably, you know, for me, it's probably the best rugby league stadium that I've ever seen, you know, in the world. So, yeah, so, you know, they enjoy playing there, obviously. I suppose we've had that little bit of rivalry, you know, with the Broncos, you know, 2 out-of-town teams. Yeah, but our guys always enjoy there. You know, it might be a bit of the weather when we come up, you know, from the Melbourne weather into the Brisbane weather. I'm not quite sure. But having said that, you know, there's been a lot of close games during that time as well, you know. And after, you know, what they produced last week, you know, we know it's going to be a tough game tomorrow night.
No Lodge for the Broncos, and maybe no Reece Kennedy now either. I mean, you expecting them to be a bit light on up front?
Yeah, well, I thought Matt played, you know, again, what I've seen and what I've saw, you know, he's probably played, you know, his best game for a fair while last week. He was outstanding for him, you know. So, but having said that, he wasn't just the only one that was outstanding, and you know, they had a lot of, you know, really good players there last week. So I'm sure Kevy will be looking, you know, they'll be looking to produce that sort of performance again. So, you know, they're probably a bit lighter on in a couple of positions at the moment. You know, we're real light on in a couple of other positions. So, but it just seems to be a little bit how the game's going at the moment. And you know, I know with our top 30, I think we had you've got to name 21 every week. I think that's all we had this week was 21. You know, and so yeah, you know, I think a few other clubs in the same boat. And, you know, obviously the Broncos are a little bit too with, you know, a couple of their suspensions they've got.
Do you think it was a case of the Roosters sort of underestimated the Broncos last week, or?
Oh, from what again, me watching the game, just, you know, on, you know, tape, not being alive, I just thought they got off to a better start because they were more aggressive at the start with their running and a bit more purposeful with their defence, to be quite honest. So I think it might have shocked the Roosters a bit. I wouldn't, you know, I don't think too many teams underestimate any teams in the competition, to be quite honest, but perhaps they shocked them a bit with their start. And, you know, the Broncos, with all due respect, their best quarter of games this year has been, you know, the first 20 by a mile. So.
How's Cam Munster's injury going?
Yeah, it's come along pretty slowly. He still hasn't done any run with us, so he's not back in the rehab group yet. You know, sorry, the running rehab group. So yeah, like sometimes those things take a little bit of time, and then all of a sudden, you know, it gets to a certain point, and then it comes good quickly. But at the moment, he's still. I think, you know, when they realised what the injury was, it was always going to be, well, we're not quite sure how long this is going to take, and basically that's how it's worked out.
We know Harry's not playing tomorrow night, but if it was a Sunday game, would he have been close?
Yeah, he done all the training today, so I think the Queenslanders want to save him up for Origin, I think. But yeah, I like to say he's, like it's tough ask, to ask him to play tomorrow night, when he hasn't. And he's probably been recovered more quickly than what they thought at the start. It was pretty bad tear he had. But he's doing, as I said, it was only the captain's run today, but he got through all that really well. But he's pretty much ready to go from now.
Trent Boyero gets in the 17 again this week. Scored his first try last week. You've been impressed with what he's done? Yeah,
no, he made his debut down in Melbourne actually against the Broncos, and I think he played about 15 minutes, but I think he set up a try, and he's a local guy from here, and we're really impressed with him actually. He's got some good size and good pace, and he's aggressive with his running, and he's a pretty smart footy player too. So I'm sure he'll play a lot more games, especially through the Origin period. But I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes a regular, at the back end of the year.
Just his 50th as well.
Yeah.
Quite a special player, isn't
he? Yeah, obviously. 50 games, as you said out there when he got presented his jumper. He thought he'd just be happy with one, but I'm sure he's got a whole heap more to go as well. But he's one of those guys that we had to be a little bit patient with, and he was patient as well, and it was a whole different ball game for him to come down and do a pre-season with us, and away from home as well, a long way from home. But he's done unbelievably well. When he's at his best, there's not too many better centres in the game than him. So he's got a great combination with Josh as well. So that's really helped our team out.
Will Chris Lewis play on that left edge again this week?
Yeah, well, again, we got Jerome back, so we just need to make the right decision for the team there. But obviously, Jerome's going to come back in. So again, Louis not a natural half, and he hasn't been, but he's got some traits of a halfback, I suppose. He probably rates himself a little bit higher than most others in the team, but he done a really good job for us last week. He's got a bit of size about him. He probably ran the ball more than he passed it, which was probably what we needed. He saw a couple of opportunities and he took them. And I think he had a couple of offloads that I think one of them might have led to a try. So he done a really good job for us last week, and with that experience, I'm sure he'll be better again this week.
Cool. We might wrap it up there.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot.